Okay, I think Mr. Pisani is going to start next. All right, this is just a 1-minute question. SB 1160 added significant restrictions and burdens on law-abiding state gun owners. What aspect of that law do you support, or would you prefer to completely repeal it?
Wow, I get this question. You all know I'm a Second Amendment advocate. I followed it closely. I protested. I helped raise money for the CCDL. This whole law has to go completely. The magazines, right away. I've testified at the state capitol that I have a 380 with 11 rounds, and I had to register, and I did it. I followed the law. I waited in line 10 hours on New Year's Eve to interview people, and what they said, never mind what I think, is this is ridiculous. What's next? What's next with these people? Why do we have to register these things? Why is it an assault weapon, which is not an assault, it's a defense? Guns are for defense. This is going to go to the Supreme Court. We're working hard for it. I'm against the complete law. It's all going to get thrown out. And I want everyone to, that's the Second Amendment. Please visit my website, Wisconsin for Governor. You'll see a lot more about it. I am the gun candidate. Thank you.
After the terrible tragedy in Newtown, I put out a statement because I smelled something coming here, and I said that Governor Malloy and the legislature should limit any consideration of changes in the law with respect to guns, the things that actually could be shown would have prevented the tragedy in Newtown. And in the law that was passed, I can't see anything in that law that would have actually prevented that from happening and would have prevented it. I said that if I had been governor, the law would have been very different. What this law should have included was a lot more on mental health services for families that have people with mental health problems and who are violent. That's what caused this tragedy in Newtown. That's what this bill should have addressed. And if I'm governor, I would be focusing on maybe trying to figure out a way to get more services, more protection for families and our citizens, for people who have mental health problems. Thank you.
I was asked on the face of the state whether I would have voted for the gun bill, and I responded by saying no. And they asked me why. And the reason that I gave was I thought that there was a missed opportunity. You know, it's easy to blame guns. It's the obvious dog in the fight, for lack of a better word, for the political people to divide and conquer. I think that the opportunity really rests with the mental health issue and the video game industry, which got a complete pass. If people think for a minute that the video game industry doesn't impact a young and weak mind, I would respectfully disagree with you. And so, you know, we have a history of doing that in this country. When we play politics with an issue, we pit one group against another to get our way, and sometimes it becomes more of a feel-good than an actual problem solver. So, I'm a supporter of the Constitution and a supporter of the Second Amendment.
Just to echo what some of the other folks have said here today, let's just be very clear. The bill that was passed in the spring was weighted 95% towards the issue of guns and was weighted about 5% towards the elephant in the room, which is a mental health care crisis that we have both in this state and across the United States of America. We ignored the #1 issue that's facing many families from Connecticut and many families all around this country. But let me also just say that, you know, when I was in the legislature, I'm not just talking the talk here. When I was in the legislature in 1998, I had an A rating from the NRA. When I was re-elected in 2000, I had an A+ rating from the NRA. My commitment to the Constitution and the Second Amendment is clear and it is unequivocal. And so at the end of the day, we need to go back and revisit that bill and do what it should have done, and that's what I would have told the legislature. Do your job, focus on the mental health care crisis. Let's make sure that we never have a horrible incident like this again in this state. Thank you.
Here are many bills that we have in the legislature that conflict often with your own personal point of view, and certainly this is one of them. As a governor, you have to listen to everyone's views across the state. As a state senator, you have to listen to the constituents in your district. Unfortunately, I have a district that has 4 out of the 7 towns, Democratic towns, the vast majority of them being anti-gun individuals that are now emailing me 100 this week for further incursions of loopholes where they see that they want to ban weapons that are assault weapons prior to 1993. I absolutely do not support that. The 2 problems I have with the bill is defining what a weapon is, and number 2, the magazine size. I voted for amendments to eliminate these portions in the bill, but I supported the school security bill, which I had a lot to do with, and I thought that the mental health aspect of it was greatly deficient, and spoke quite at length about why and how that should be the main focus, because this is really deluding people, thinking that we have a safer environment. Thank you.
I wish I had more than a minute. Most people here probably know that I am the state senator for the town of Newtown and have represented Newtown for 15 years. I was at the firehouse that day. I had friends in that school. I have friends who lost their children. My district wanted overwhelmingly to support that bill, not everybody obviously, but overwhelmingly. And in our republic, which I'm reminded of not just by Ron Wilcox, but every time I say the Pledge of Allegiance, we still are a representative form of government. But I can't let people say we didn't do anything about mental health and education. Over 600 schools have already received a grant to harden up and secure the schools, and any school that wants money will get one. I have testimony before me, and I will share with anybody on school threat assessment teams where national experts said if you establish threat assessment teams, you will prevent this from happening. The Democrats rejected the idea of threat assessment teams. If we had not been in the room, we would not have had them. Threat assessment teams are in our schools. They can identify children at an early age who may be a threat and hopefully prevent this from happening. And we did make changes to our mental health laws. And I would just ask you to read Senate Bill 1076. That would have passed if we hadn't been in the room.